Hello, this is Mark Wiltshire, and thanks for choosing to listen to the Explore Finland radio show. As we discussed in the last episode, I'm making this latest season in partnership with my friend Glenn, the Nordic Tourist, on YouTube and Instagram. And for this episode, I'm really happy and intrigued to be joined by an expert in an activity that I had never heard of before, and that is ice carousels. Exactly, me either. Fortunately, I'm speaking today with Janne Käpylehto, the inventor of the ice carousel. Hi, Janne.
Hi.
Janne is also the chairman of the World Ice Carousel Association, and he's about to make his latest world record attempt at the biggest ice carousel. This is going to take place in the town of Lappajärvi in Etelä-Pohjanmaa, or South Ostrobothnia, at the end of February 2021. Glenn and I plan to visit the event, so you'll be able to see some of the footage on his next Nordic Tourist video. But Janne, thanks for making time to speak to us today.
Thank you. It's always nice to talk about ice carousels.
Good. I'm glad you're up for this. No, there's nobody better to discuss this with. So where did the inspiration for this idea come from?
Actually, there might have been ice carousels in Helsinki about 100 years ago.
So you reinvented it?
I did not invent it fully, but okay. the ice carousel, which me and my girlfriend Maria, we did on January 2017 next to our summer cottage island. That was the ice carousel which took this to another level, making it a viral. That's basically the reason why teams all over the world, they are making ice carousels and competing, think that who has the biggest one.
What made you want to do it on that particular occasion just a few years ago?
It's just an idea came. I don't know. It was just some morning. I wake up and I had an idea. How about cutting a round ice disc? And I went to a shop and took a couple of chainsaws, and then we just did it. And I did a nice video about it, and I thought that would be nice that if 10,000 or 50,000 people would see the video, but as it has been featured in medias like BBC and all three main TV channels in Japan and so on, maybe something like 300 million people have seen it now.
Well, I can say that's 300 million and maybe 4 or 5 more, because I forwarded that video around this morning and blew the minds of some of my family back home in the UK. The phrase, "I had an idea and bought a couple of chainsaws and just did it," is such a Finnish phrase.
Yes.
It says a lot about the Finnish mentality. So you got the chainsaws, but how do you make this ice carousel?
A small one can be used using just a rope to make it round, or some kind of pole in the center. But this one that we are going to be doing in Lappajärvi, there I'm going to be using an industrial laser to measure it.
Okay.
When going to bigger than, let's say, 100 meters, a rope or a pole, that's not very usable anymore.
So you're on the lake, and the lake is frozen. Do you need a particular thickness of ice for this to be viable or safe?
Minimum there's a saying that minimum ice thickness for walking is 5 centimeters, and for ice fishing 2 centimeters, because ice fishermen are the first ones who will go out in the lake.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But for an ice carousel, so that it will be safe, something like 15 to 20 centimeters is needed. In Lappajärvi, the ice thickness will be something like 45 to 50 centimeters.
Okay, that's a lot of cutting that you need to do.
Yes, it is. And the largest ice carousel which I have done until so far was in Tahko, near Kuopio. The diameter being 186 meters. And the ice thickness was terrible. That's I think it's a record which will not be beaten very soon. The ice thickness in Tahko was 1 meter.
Really, that's a long chainsaw that you need to get down through that level of ice. So you are going to cut a round circle using this laser measure. You said
Yes.
How does that work? Just so that I can visualize how that works.
I will be measuring from the center pole points every 5 to 10 meters, mark it, and then I have this cutting device which is called the Red Devil. It's built by me. It has a huge round-shaped blade, and it will cut really fast.
Okay.
It's really powerful, but it doesn't go all through. So I will make actually 2 cuts.
Okay.
First with the Red Devil, it cuts really fast, and then we'll just take 10 huge chainsaws and cut it through. And with me, there will be cutting 3 mayors.
Yes. Yeah, this is the event that's taking place that weekend, 26th and 27th of February, where the mayors from Alajärvi, Vimpeli, and Lappajärvi are all getting together. They're going to ski around Lake Lappajärvi on the Friday, and then do I understand they're spending the night on your ice carousel?
Yes, on a rotating ice carousel, and there will be a tent, on a sauna made out of ice, and also a hot tub, all rotating.
You know, I know that my family back in the UK listening to this will be having kind of heart rate will be rising, because the idea in the UK of walking out on the ice, you're just taught from a very young age not to do it. I know it's safer in Finland, and 45 centimeters thick ice is not going to break under your weight, but you've got quite a lot of activity going on this patch of frozen lake.
There will actually be 2 ice carousels.
Okay.
The big one, diameter of something like, we have not decided yet, but more than 225 meters, because it's the current record. My friend Chuck Zwilling from Minnesota is holding the record, 225 meters in diameter. So it needs to be bigger. Yeah. But on inside the big carousel, there will be another ice carousel with the diameter of something like 35 meters. And the 2 carousels will be rotating to different directions. And
like one with inside the other one?
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
Inside the other one, to rotating different right directions, and it will look really silly. And taking a time-lapse image of the rotating sauna and tent and hot tub, that will be amazing.
That is going to be amazing. Yeah, that brings me on to my next question, actually, is how do you make it turn?
Using outboard motors.
Okay.
Usually I use electric ones, but actually the small one will be rotating with electricity, and maybe even solar panels, depending on the weather, because it's totally quiet and so on. But the big one, we need some gasoline motors because it's so huge. The weight of the big ice disc will be something like 30 million kilograms.
30 million kilograms. I saw that written on the press release, and I somehow thought there were extra zeros there, although I have no idea quite how heavy that would be. So
it's so heavy that in theory it can sustain like float about 30,000 people.
Really?
Yeah.
Heavy. It's heavy enough. Anyway, I don't know if you can fit that many on it.
Ice floats.
Yeah, of course. You mentioned your friend in Canada there, and you've been competing against each other to go bigger and bigger for a few years now.
Not in Canada, in US.
Oh, in US. Sorry.
Yeah, there is a team in Canada also, by the way. But Chuck Zwilling is from Minnesota, US.
Okay.
Yes. Chuck saw the first video which I did on 2017, they did a small carousel. The next year, they made it the world's largest. Then I did even a bit larger. And then now he has made a bigger one. So this is a friendly competition. Actually, we share tips how to build it, how to make it. And I have been twice there in Chuck's Ice Festival. He was here in 2018 at the Lohja Ice Carousel Festival. And there would have been actually like 10 people from Minnesota to come to the event in Lappajärvi. But sadly, because of the corona, they cannot come. But next year, because we most likely will be cutting another ice carousel, even bigger, next year in Lappajärvi.
Okay.
One target could be like half a kilometer.
So okay, wow, that is big, and we're talking about the circumference of the disc.
The diameter.
The diameter is going to be 250.
Yeah, we'll be doing something like 250 meters in diameter.
Okay, wow. We were discussing that before, and we couldn't believe it was going to be quite so big. And now you say that 500 or 250, 230 meters diameter this time, and maybe 500 meters next time. That's unbelievable. It's almost difficult to picture that.
It will be a huge project to cut it. As we have to cut it actually twice to make it rotate. So we'll be cutting almost 2 kilometers of ice.
Wow. And the idea may be, so talking to you now in 2021, people listening to this can start thinking that hopefully in 2022, there will be a kind of ice, do you call it an ice festival in Lappajärvi again?
Yes, and most likely that could be actually a public event.
Yeah.
This time, because of Corona, we are not making it a public event. Media is coming there, yes. All the people who are helping with it, and most likely some people will anyway come there and see it. But like officially, it's not a public event because of Corona.
Yeah, which is a shame, but that makes sense. So we don't need to necessarily talk now about where exactly this is taking place, but people should check the show notes that I make for this episode. We'll put links in there to where people can find out more about what's going on now, and follow me for updates. And when the event comes around in a year's time, we'll talk about it there again. You are this kind of event in Lappajärvi this year is taking place on Friday and Saturday, but I understand you're going to be there a little bit earlier in the week.
Yeah, I'm going to travel there a week before and start working on the measurements and so on Monday. The actual cutting day, where the mayors are going to be helping me, that's Wednesday. Main event day is the Saturday, and the mayors will have the heavy ski trip on Friday.
It looks incredible. I like these slightly crazy ideas, and having a sauna on the ice that's rotating round is it sounds great. I'm looking forward to coming and checking it out. What else is planned to take place on the during this event?
If we can do it, taking into account the corona situation, there might be world's first rotating Finnish baseball game.
Okay, of course there would be. Why not?
And it's a nice continuation for making rotating things. There are many rotating things which would be very difficult or impossible to do without an ice carousel. I have actually done twice the rotating ice hockey game.
Okay.
Last Saturday actually was the second one. Nice game next to Korkeasaari, which is very near the center of Helsinki.
Mm-hmm.
And then the first one was 2018 near Töölönlahti, actually at Töölönlahti, next to the Finlandia house. And it was amazing because even the president of Finland was playing there.
On your rotating ice hockey field. Yeah, I've seen pictures of the president, Sauli Niinistö, playing hockey with children before. While he's been president, so it doesn't surprise me to hear that he was interested in taking part in such a unusual game.
I arranged that with this one also, which was week before, with the Save Pond hockey guys, the Pipolätkä guys.
There was also something about ice sculpting.
Yes, there will be the Finnish championships about ice carving, and it will be first ever to have ice carving championships, the rotating version.
Because it seems to me that
on top of the huge ice carousel.
Yes, yeah. It seems to me that you could have the world's first anything if you then put the word rotating after it. Tell me a little bit about what does the World Ice Carousel Association do? How does that work?
The idea is to connect people who are building ice carousels, share tips, and also keep a record of keep the records of the largest ice carousel, thickest ice carousel, fastest, and so on. There are many categories, but the main most important category is the size. Who has the biggest one? And there's a nice history in building ice carousels. Basically, it started from size point of view. I did first 57 meters in Kirkkonummi. Then the Estonians did 60.4 meters. Then I did 100-meter ice carousel together with Kyro Distillery in Lohja. Then Chuck Zwilling did the 110. Then I did 122 meters in Lohja Ice Carousel Festival. By the way, it was the biggest event ever in Lohja, 20,000 visitors.
Yeah, and there's a video for that, I think, on your website. So I'll add that into the show notes as well. There's the video I think you first made, which was by this the island cottage. There is a beautiful looking video, so I'll be sure to share that as well. That's the one that got all my family kind of impressed this morning. But yeah, the ice festival one, I'll share that too. And so it went up and up from there.
Yeah, then Chuck did one, then a team from Canada did one, then a team from Maine, they did one. They had huge ice thickness, something like 75 centimeters maybe. And then I did the 186 meters in Tahko with it was the thickest one, ice thickness of 1 meter. And then the Canadians did one. And now currently the record is held by Chuck Zwilling, 225 meters. But actually, Chuck is going to cut an ice carousel, I think next weekend. And that means that we need to do a bit bigger one.
Right, so you have to wait to see how he gets on and then go from there.
Yeah, but I'm happy kind of that the Lappajärvi event is about 2 weeks later than Chuck's event. So we'll know how big do we have to do.
And when you make this huge one in a year's time, will Chuck be part of your team making this? Can you share the glory, or are you still going to go head to head?
Actually, I have been twice helping Chuck. Actually, with my team, I have been traveled to Minnesota twice to help Chuck to make it happen. And Chuck was here. It's really funny. Chuck with his wife, like 1 hour after they had landed on Helsinki-Vantaa airport, he was already cutting ice with me.
Okay. Very, very focused kind of guy.
Yeah. Chuck is a wonderful guy. I really like him.
Well, I hope maybe at this future event when more people can be there, we'll get to meet him and say hi. So hello, Chuck. What about if the listener wants to get involved in making ice carousels? What advice would you give to them?
A small one is fairly easy to make. Just make it so that ice thickness would be more than 20 centimeters and less than 40. Then it's fairly easy to make. Having more than 40 centimeters, it makes it slow, and a typical summer cottage chainsaw will not work because it's not long enough. For measuring it, if you're doing a small one, using a pole, two 5 meter long poles of wood, and just put it together with screws. Screw in the middle, attach the chainsaw and mark the edge first. And after making the mark, you can just get rid of the pole and then just cut it. And when cutting, it's important that the chainsaw is in upwards position, so that it doesn't move. Then you don't have to do so much cutting.
Yeah, one sort of straight down cut all the way around so that the disc can move. Yeah,
it should be straight. There is actually how to make an ice carousel video on my YouTube.
Okay, well we'll find links to all of these and make sure that people can find them.
And also, by the way, if you're interested, Chuck would be most likely ready for this kind of podcast if you'd like to interview him, because he is now the current world record holder.
That's true, but it seems to me that in a few weeks' time we will have already spoken to the new world record holder. Hopefully.
I hope so. I hope so. Let's 2 points about this. This will be an attempt to make the world record. We are saying that this is an attempt, and the point 2 is that this will be a huge project. Most likely, it can be that we will be cutting it from early morning to late night, like 3 days a row, and 10 people cutting. I have 10 chainsaws.
Okay.
A big ones.
Yeah.
Not a similar one that you would have in your summer cottage one, but a huge one.
When Glenn and I come, if we come on the Saturday, obviously all the hard work will be done. I don't know if we'll be there when the physical stuff is taking place. But what should we look out for on that day? What would be interesting for us to film and show the listeners and watchers?
We can do a bit of extra cutting for you so that you can see how does it work. But most likely the Saturday will be the party day. So it's just the correct day for you to arrive.
That sounds perfect to me.
On Saturday evening, we will have this party and diner evening party. And we'll be using the sauna, using the hot tub, rotating both ice carousels until the end of Saturday, and that's also the day when the record is made. An ice carousel breaks the record when it makes one full rotation without stopping, and it needs to be documented. So there needs to be a couple of video cameras filming it non-stop.
And then, so you mean that it's you get it moving and then you take the power off so that it continues drifting around itself?
No, just keep the engines on. Okay. On, but it needs to rotate without stopping. And then the actual point, there will be 2 markers, orange-shaped markers on the ice. And when the markers meet again after the rotation, then the record is made. And that's the photo opportunity, because usually it's made so that when it gets closer to the mark, the people will gather there with chainsaws and so on. And when they hit, then people are yelling something. And
okay.
then
Good.
Take the photo.
Good to know. I'm quite excited by this. I'm intrigued by it, and if the listener wants to follow your activities, you've mentioned your YouTube channel, but is there anywhere else that people can connect with you or follow you?
Yeah, my YouTube channel, and then also the site of the World Ice Carousel Association. It's just icecarousel.com.
Very good. Yeah, and again, I'll put all the links there in the show notes. Is there anything else that you want to tell us about, Janne, before we come and see you in a couple of weeks' time?
Yes, maybe the story why Lappajärvi.
Okay, yeah, good point.
Last winter, I was actually doing the Ice Carousel Festival here in Lohja, but then the plan, I really wanted to do a huge ice carousel, and I checked looking at the map that where do I find a big enough lake which would be still not too far. And I just looked the map and said, hey, Lappajärvi, that's a big lake. How about that? And right away, I called the mayor of Lappajärvi, Sami Alasara, and he got excited about this project. And then a couple of days went, and Mayor Alasara called me, and there was 3 mayors on the phone. Vesa from Alajärvi and Sam from Vimpeli. And after that, this has been going forward like a train.
From what I understand, these 3 mayors are quite adventurous, and they did a walk around Lake Lappajärvi in 2020, and now this year they're planning to ski around it before the Saturday activities at the ice carousel. So they're quite game for trying these things.
Yeah, they got excited right away that let's do this, and I think it's the location is wonderful, being the European's largest crater lake.
Yeah, and actually, I recorded an episode of the Explore Finland radio show where we did a sort of virtual tour around Lake Lappajärvi. I think, is it 80 kilometers all the way around? It's a big area. And Glenn and I are planning to get out there and visit some of those places from this virtual tour later this year. So Lappajärvi is going to feature regularly, I think, in our shows during this year. Well, I think, Janne, that just about wraps it up for today's show. Thank you very much for this introduction to something that's clearly very close to your heart. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Glenn and I are really looking forward to seeing all of this and filming it. So, listener, check the show notes for videos and photos from that day, and also links to all of Janne's videos that he's made previously. If you want to connect with me, I'm most active on Facebook as Explore Finland Radio Show, and also on Instagram as Mark Wiltshire, or you can find my website, which is explorefinlandpodcast.com. If you enjoy the show and you want to show your support, then please take a minute to share this episode. You could spread the word to your friends on your social network of choice and let them know about the show and invite them to Explore Finland with us. And also, if there's a subject you want me to cover in a future episode, you can contact me via the website or social media. I'll be happy to hear from you. But until the next episode of Explore Finland Radio Show, thanks for joining me. Goodbye.